We'll actually get started if that's okay. My name's Clinton Begg and I'll be doing the presentation this morning. So I've discarded the stage because I like to get close and personal with people, and I've got a pretty loud voice, so it really, I don't need a microphone, so I'm all good. So in today's session, we're going to be looking at what we call the world of search. So the way in which we're actually found online, or how we're found in Australia, or how we're found internationally, okay? Many people in the room here may have heard of SEO, search engine optimization. Put your hand up if you've heard of it, search engine optimization. Yeah, and many people pay a lot of money to get search engine optimization done. Today, I'm going to keep it very black and white for you in regards to what you need to do as a small or a medium-sized business owner in order to be found online. A lot of it isn't about what we do with our search engine optimization or our SEO. It's how we strategize it, how we plan it, how we're actually found, okay? So I do apologize. You can get your phones out if you wish and scan the QR code just to learn a little bit about myself. I don't want to ramble on with a whole heap of jargon and all that type of stuff. Just go there and have a look. I don't want to bore you to death, if that's okay. But number one, thank you for coming to Click Digital Solutions 2021. I hope I presented all right, because I was just given that paper and said off you go, so off I did. Okay. Being online or being found online takes strategy. Strategy, strategy, strategy. Just like you might have a business plan or goals in your business that you want to achieve, you've got to have a strategy. I know when I was a young pup, when I was 18 years of age, and I started with a major national business, it all started out with a goal to grow. But we needed a plan, we needed a strategy. And when I started with that business, it had 18 odd stores. And by the time I left, it had over 200 odd stores, okay? And one of the biggest retailers in this country now, when I was a pup. But the one thing that I was taught by the then owner was all about planning and strategy. So today's session about being found online is really predominantly about that, okay? If I jump around and whatever and get excited about it, don't be alarmed, okay? That's just me, all right? I'm worse than Tracy. So yeah, the big thing is planning. One of the major things that we look at when we're looking at planning is ROI. So when we are looking at creating our search and being found online, we're also looking at our ROI, our return on investment, our return on the time, because time is money, return on the time that we spend to actually get a return, okay? Think of it this way. If we've got a plan and a strategy, after today, you'll all walk away and you'll have a plan and a strategy and you'll know what to do in order to get seen online to get that return on investment, okay? One of the things we're going to look at today, search engines. Rattle off some search engines for me. Google, what else? Bing, yes? What else, sorry? Duck. Yes, correct. Anyone else? Flurry, yep. Everyone in the room here knows of a search engine. Everyone in this room here knows of a search engine to some capability, okay? We're going to look at search engines. I'm going to give you a few techniques, specifically looking at Google, hence the colours. Specifically looking at Google, we're going to look at Bing and how we actually bring them together to complement all those other search engines effectively. Websites. Who's got a website in this room? Yeah? I was asked some time ago whether websites being found online, whether websites were going to become redundant, Clint, and are we just going to rely on social media? Are we just going to rely on apps? And my answer to that is websites will still provide you an essential landing point. So if I click on a social media post, I land on a website which is credible, a credible landing point, which then turns into a credible sales point as well, all right? So we're going to talk about websites and we're going to talk about social media. I also get the question asked, Clint, what's more important, social media or websites? And I say either. But the most important thing is searching. or searchability. Searchability. You've got a bit of a play on words because I was having that debate whether it's two words or one, but you've drawn them together. Searchability. The reason being is that not everyone's on Facebook, not everyone's on Instagram, not everyone's on Snapchat, not everyone is on LinkedIn, but if they've got connectivity or they've got a mobile device or a device that's got connectivity, they've got the ability to what? Search. I put search number one. Okay? I put search number one in my view. You've got to be able to be found. So we are going to talk about social media. You'll notice it comes last. Search engines. When we look at search engines, we're looking at Google. But we're also looking at Google My Business. Has everyone in this room here got Google My Business activated? Do we update it weekly, monthly, yearly? There was a laugh down here. You cough? Okay, no worries. Very good. See, you've got to be on the toes. You've got to be awake with my sessions because I'm on to you. Google into Google My Business. This is going to be a really hard and fast way that we can actually, I suppose, for a loose word, manipulate the search. Did I say that out loud? I'm being recorded too. So, Google to Google My Business, making sure that we've actually got a Google My Business account set up. If you don't already have a Google My Business listing, please claim it. You must make sure you claim your Google My Business listing. Okay? Go to Google My Business, search your business, see if it's available, and claim it. Tracy mentioned earlier on in her presentation in the opening ceremony before about regional centres and so forth. Every second business I go to in regional Queensland, for example, hasn't claimed their Google My Business account. I could go and claim it if I was a bit of a, not very nice person. We must be making sure that we change our delivery of that. The reason being, about 3 years ago, probably a little bit longer, Google changed the way in which they delivered their product. Google's a product. They changed the way in which they delivered their search engine. They wanted the business owner to take control of the information that was being pushed into their search engine, into their product. They wanted currency of information. They wanted to know your operating hours. Last year with COVID, wonderful. You could say if you'd been impacted by COVID or not. Taking control of what you're putting out into a search engine. That's what they wanted you to do. So Google My Business will allow you to do that. You must make sure you claim your listing. And it's very simple, as I mentioned before. Going to Google My Business, we can look at your customer's profile. You can create a profile. You can create things like being able to call people straight away, visiting their websites, directions to the business. Directions to the business. How people are finding you. Are they ringing you? Are they visiting your website that I'm so passionate about? Okay? These are all the type of things that you need to look at when you're creating a Google My Business account. It's allowing you to feed that platform with information. Okay? It's allowing you to feed that platform with information. Engage your customers on Google for free. Setting up the platform may be free, but your time to make sure that it works correctly is not. Time is money. Remember what I said? ROI, return on investment. Return on the investment in the time that we spend planning to make sure that we get this right, okay? So please make sure that when we create a Google My Business account, the information is current. Currency of information. Keywords, key phrases. We are a business on the south side of Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, geographical.
How does that transfer if you have an online business?
Yeah, we'll talk about that very shortly. Excellent question. See, you're keeping me on my toes now. Yeah, you're right.
Service area, I was reading about,
Yep.
if, like we're based in East Brisbane,
Yes.
after the whole country.
Yep.
Are you better off listing your service area or not listing?
I'll tell you what we're going to do with the service area. Let's just say that your coverage area is Australia. Let's just say that your service area is the United States or overseas. You can actually specifically place in to Google My Business where your service area is. If I'm Australia and I'm selling it and I've got an online store, for example, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Western Australia, Northern Territory, Tasmania, not that anyone goes there, any of those sort of places like that, you need to put in your listing as your service area. The same with the United States. If you are selling online, place in specific areas in Google My Business, that coverage area, that service area. So whether you've got a physical store or not, or if you've got an online store, doesn't matter. Make sure that we put those service areas in there. Sometimes, if you've got a really good plan, your service area might change because it's seasonal. You know, you might have seasonal employment. We've got a skills shortage in Queensland in regards to fruit pickers and things like that. That might change based on seasonal behaviour. That's why it's imperative to have a plan. You're getting yourself being found online because you're adjusting, you're planning, you're changing things up, and most importantly, you're not just leaving it. Don't just leave it. Change it up. Have a plan. That's what creates the distinct point of difference in regards to being found online. Okay? So service area. Did I answer your question?
Almost.
Yep.
What if you're worldwide once it's downloaded?
Yeah, same again. You put in there, country by country. 100%. I'm going to show you something very shortly. Okay? And if I do, you say tick if I get your answers correct. Yeah.
So if you put something like the entire state,
Yep.
you want a specific region,
You can put a specific region as well.
and if you're not actually physically based there,
You can put that in.
that helps with the search.
That's correct. Yep. You can put in where your specific target area is. You might have a target area of North Queensland. Then what would you do? You'd put in Cairns, Townsville, Mackay, Rockhampton. You can break it down. Yeah, correct. So up to that amount. Utilise what Google's asking you to input into their product. Okay? Can you probably understand why you need a plan? You need a plan to succeed. That time that you spend with your plan being found online, like we talk about the world of search, it's about creating that distinct point of difference. Okay? You can post directly onto Google. Post directly onto Google. Post directly onto Google. Did everyone know that? Yep. Just like Facebook, you can put a product on there. You can put a video on there. You can sell stuff on there. There are so many different things that if you are engaging this, you will be found online because you've got a plan of attack. Products and services. Creating your own shop in Google My Business. Selling things through Google. Google is the #1 search engine in the world as it is Australia for specific reasons. Even when we had a little bit of an issue at the start of the year about Google and the government, etc., and we'll get a bit political now, it still remained #1. When you have a look at this here, for example, this is my page. Over here on the right-hand side, here we are going live, the world of search. I've posted directly onto Google, okay? All my information on the left-hand side here is coming up with Business Station, my Facebook page, my LinkedIn, ASBAS, Twitter. If you click into the post that I put in here, you can have a static image like this, learn more about today's event. My event this afternoon, you're all coming this afternoon to 360 Digital straight after David Koch. It's going to be great. A video, here he is, a video. Place a video onto Google. The latest grants coming out through the Queensland Government, the small business grants, $5,000. Putting that online there, posting that online as well. As you can see, does that look impressive? Yeah? Search, search, search. This is not hard. If you know how to post on Facebook, you're going to know how to post on Google My Business. Yeah. See, I told you, I jumped then and got really excited. So there you go. Is that something new to you, seeing that? Yeah? Some people in the room, it mightn't be new. Some people might already be doing it. Some people might need to just change it up a little bit in regards to your searchability, what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it. Keeping it, you might have a product launch. You might have a specific product that you're trying to push out. Put a video out. put a video out with you talking about the product, demonstrating it. These are the type of things you can do. The most important thing, someone said Bing before. Bing is the second biggest search engine in Australia. Now, Bing is along the lines of Microsoft, obviously. But one of the really good things about Bing is if you've got a Google My Business account, what you can do is you can connect them. So make sure that you connect your Google My Business account to a Bing business account. It'll automatically ask you. So when you go into the Bing platform, www.bing.com, and you create a Bing account for your business, it will automatically ask you if you've got a Google My Business account. It's going to draw information from your Google account. So you're not doubling up, you're not doing any of that. It will automatically draw from that account, okay? So if you are posting on Google My Business or onto Google or the platform, if you are putting information onto that platform, Bing's going to pick up on it. It's like the piggyback effect. It'll draw information, piggyback on the information that's already there, okay? Please make sure after today you secure a Bing account. Very, very easy. As you can see here, you report from your Google My Business account. All you're doing is connecting it, putting it together, okay? Working hand in hand. Currency of information across, we can't discriminate how people are going to find us or what platform they're going to use to find us. Be there. Be there. Have a presence. Be found, okay? Plan, plan, plan. Yep.
Just in case you don't say it later, with the posting on Google My Business and your products, etc.
Yep.
Do you have a recommended frequency?
Yeah, we do actually. Depending in regard, can I ask what sort of business you guys are in?
I'm in
Yep.
education, health.
Yep.
Health and education courses, things like that.
Think about it. When you're looking at things like Google My Business or Bing, a lot of it's about the fact that it's going to be on that platform for a period of time. Okay? You know, for example, if we're looking at school holiday events, you'd be posting that like a week before the school holidays start. You know? Or if you've got you know, a back to school sale on books, you'd be posting that in December when Santa comes. Yada, yada, yada. That's that planning bit I'm talking about. I don't want to sound like a smarty ass or anything when I say this, but planning is critical. Like, we plan, we get up out of bed in the morning, we go and have a shower, we get dressed. Well, that's our plan to go somewhere. The same with what we do online with digital. Planning, critical to get the most out of what we're doing, okay? But that's a very good question, the when, but there's strategy behind it. It's going to be genre specific to your business. And frequency is based around the fact that I would be saying to you, be posting on Google My Business a minimum of once a week. A minimum once a week. Okay? In this presentation I do today, I don't talk about the different types of digital asset scheduling tools, but there is a really good one called Hero Post that goes out onto Google. It'll send it out onto Facebook. It'll send it out on Instagram, all at a scheduled time. So we'll go onto those accounts. Historically, those type of digital scheduling tools where you post out haven't been going to Google and those platforms. Now they are. Okay? But yeah, connect it all in, connect it all in, connect it all in. You can probably understand why I didn't choose the stage, because I would have been falling off that by now, I would dare say. So yeah, make sure we get Bing Places, Bing Business account, and make sure that we do connect that to our Google My Business account as well. All right? Websites. Can I just get a gauge of who's got a website in here again? Hands up. Very, very good. Excellent. Is your website mobile responsive? Yep. Good show. Why does it need to be responsive? Sorry? Searching on mobiles. One of the reasons, again, probably about 6-7 years ago, Google changed their product methodology again, that they wanted a user-friendly experience for the people utilising their platform. Top to bottom, left to right, easy to navigate around. It will also affect your ranking. If you don't have a mobile optimized website, you get deranked. It's all about that user-friendly experience for the end user, okay? Critical that you have a mobile optimized websites, in many cases, responsive. Mobile optimized. 92% of Australians over the age of 18 years of age have a mobile device of some description. How scary. Tracy's husband in there was talking about the old phones and the old bricks. I remember I had a brick. I had a brick phone with the old aerial pop-up. I had one of them. Critical. That's where the market is. That's where the audience is. We talk about frequency. Think about where you're being seen. Mobile devices. Okay? So mobile optimized website. Very important that your pages contain keywords and phrases, especially on the home page of your website. Okay? That's where the optimum pull from a search engine is going to come from. The home page of your website. Can I be suggestive? And something that I've been really suggesting to people, customers, business owners, people in general, my dog. Make sure on the home page of your website, you actually put in there, e.g. your coverage area. We are a business located in Brisbane, Australia. No less than 3 times on that home page. Okay? Geographical search. The way that these search engines work, pulling that information from a geographical point. Keywords, key phrases. Okay? Keywords and key phrases. Ultimately important, but also use those keywords that are geographically sound. Okay? You understand that? So in no less than 3 areas on the home page of your website. All right? Create engaging content, including blogs and vlogs. So video blogs, I guess, blogs. Creating content that is current. Creating content that holds currency of information. Changing up what's being found and said on your website will affect your searchability. Okay? The more, please, when it comes to search, don't leave your website dormant. Don't just leave your website there and don't touch it. Treat it like it's another team member. Treat it like it is another team member. Treat your website like it is another team member. If you've got your team members' new uniforms, get your website currency of information. Tidy it up. Keep it current. No use tidying up the front of a building and just leaving your digital asset, your digital workable asset, your website, just sitting there. It has to hold currency of information.
Ben, do you recommend, when you put your content on, do you recommend a mix of evergreen and time-specific, or
Yep.
most?
100%. Very, very much so. Core content, talking like a human, not like a robot. Yeah? But then again, when it comes down to search, and what I've told you here now comes down to planning, making sure in specific areas on the homepage of your website where you actually put where you're from. We are a global business that exports, or we are a business that exports to Asia. That's on the front end of your website. That's your page content. I'm not going to talk about the back end of your website today, but obviously utilising keywords and key phrases. When you have the chance, have a look at the back end of your website and check out what keywords and key phrases you have listed there. Okay? Can I also be suggestive that what you put in Google in the About Us area on Google My Business is the same as what's on your website. Collective consistency. What's here in the search molds into the website. Okay? Keep it consistent in the About Us area in Google as it is on your website. Keep it consistent. Keywords, key phrases. Boom, search. Social media. I like asking this question. Is social media a search engine? Is it a search engine? If I'm not posting on Facebook, for example, will I be found? Because Facebook works a lot like a search engine, like Google. If you're not posting, you're not found. If you're posting, the likelihood is, depending in regards to where someone is searching you from, you'll be found. When we're looking at social media, there is a posse. you know, there's a posse. 10 years ago, I would have said to you, be on everything, the lot. Now, I say to you, be on a platform that's genre-specific to your business to be found, relevant to your business, okay? And do it well, and do it consistently well. So keep it happening all the time, okay? Keep content being pushed out onto those platforms all the time, consistently. Planning, planning, planning. The better we are with our content planning for social media, the better our searchability becomes. When I took you through the video of my search, what came up? Twitter, Facebook, my LinkedIn, all my URLs came up with my information on it. Do you think I post much? I'm posting all the time. No, yeah, I am. Trust me, I'm posting all the time. Always keeping that content happening. Where my website's not updated, at least people can see what I'm doing. People can see that I'm here today. You saw the video, you saw the post. I'm here. Distinct point of difference, okay? Keep it current. Keep it relevant. Keep it now. So yeah, choose what social media platform you would like to use that's relevant to your business and do it well. Post consistently and do it well, okay?
Where would you find the information to decide
Yep.
what is the most suitable for your genre?
Well, funnily enough, my presentation this afternoon, I have some really, really good statistics through Deloitte's about social media and what platforms are doing quite well in this country. Facebook is still number one by a golden mile, okay? But the stats that I'll show you through Deloitte's, it breaks it down by what platform's the best platform and what's the best performing platform, what's the not so best performing platform, but also what customers are actually utilising social media for. Okay, what they're actually doing, how they're engaging it and why they're engaging it, what they want from a social media platform, okay? That's straight after David Koch. I don't know if you heard me early on in the conversation. Straight after David Koch, that particular one's on. 360 digital. Post a minimum of 3 times a week. A minimum of 3 times a week on your chosen platform. A minimum. It might seem a lot, but if you've got a plan in place, it's not. And as you'll probably see something very shortly, create engaging content. Create content that is relevant to your business for searchability terms, okay? If I'm looking at something like selling winter clothes, I'd be doing it, probably should have been doing it about 2 months ago, but making sure that the post is relevant so when people are searching for winter clothes, searchability comes up. I would really like you to walk away today from today's session. Remember that video that I showed you of searching me and how everything came up. Everything that I am talking about today, that's all I'm doing. And planning. You can do it yourself. You can do it. Making sure that we're utilising the story. Has everyone seen the story area in Facebook? So the story area in Facebook, LinkedIn's now got a story area. Twitter has now got what they call a fleet, where you can actually put a story in Twitter. Instagram's got the story area. Make sure that we're creating engaging stories. If you want to do a video, keep it to that 10 to 30 second mark with the video and make it relevant. Do exactly what that area is meant to be used for, and that is telling stories. Tell stories. What will actually happen when you do stories, and these particular platforms changed 12 months ago, just on April when the pandemic started getting a bit out there in the country. They changed it from being seen more in a story, what we call an impression rate, how many people are actually seeing our content, yeah, versus how many people are actually engaging in it. Your searchability will increase by utilising the story area in the social media platforms. Okay? Please make sure that you are utilising that. In fact, I did a workshop, a big seminar in late December last year, which is online, and all I basically said in that seminar was stories is the backbone of social media in 2021. Story, story, story. That will then again help you with your searchability again, okay? Does everyone know what the story is? Just so I'm clear in social media, okay? I'll show you the story before we leave here, okay? Be consistent. When it comes to social media, be consistent with your planning. Planning, planning, planning. In order to be found online, we need to be consistent with our posting. So whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on LinkedIn, the very important thing that we look at is consistency. Planning. I think I'm spelling a picture here. You need to take the time to go away and plan. Our ultimate goal is by developing a plan, we are looking at gaining a return on investment. Okay? Like I just mentioned there before about what platforms, what social media platforms are doing really well in this country, we plan based on that. We plan based on what customers, what users are actually looking at. Okay?
Are there tools for planning? Is there an online tool?
A lot of these platforms here now that you'll actually have provide you with insights. Google provides you with Google Analytics. Facebook will provide you with their insights. But one of the really, really good tools that you can actually use, and I mentioned there before, was that digital scheduling tool, which is called HeroPost. There are a posse out there. You know, there's Hootsuite. There's quite a few different types of digital scheduling tools out there, but those tools will actually provide you with data, information, when things are working, when things aren't working. Let's just say, here's a quick story for you. I was up in a place called Innisfail, far north Queensland, doing a regional remote talk up there with some really great business owners. Funnily enough, a lot of really good entrepreneurs in that particular area. And we're at a council building, and you could literally see glass outside there was a complete glass pane, and you could see these ladies sitting out in the park playing with their kids. And one of the ladies actually said to me in the presentation, Clint, we own a chemist. When would be the best time to be posting? And I looked outside the building and went, what do you think all the ladies were doing, or the mothers were doing? On their phones. The kids were on the swing, Charlie's flying 10 foot that way, you know, they're on their phone. Think about when you push your posts out. You know, if they want to sell nappies, if they want to sell baby formula, that, know when people are creatures of habit. Vital. Know when people are creatures of habit. Know who your customers are. Know who your audiences are. Not everyone works 8 till 5. Shift workers. Be mindful of when you're planning, when you're actually pushing your content out on social media. Planning, planning, planning. 3 month rolling. Yep.
Can I just ask a quick question? You talk about using things like Hootsuite.
Yep.
All of that. Are they better than using Facebook directly, like Business Suite?
Yeah, no, you can use Facebook directly. If you're comfortable with using Facebook Business Suite, 100%, okay? I'm actually a Facebook marketing partner, okay? And one of the things that we noticed with the change in that particular platform was the amount of people actually engaging with the Business Suite, okay? There are so many great tools in there that you can plan with. There are so many different types of things that you can add in, whether you want to be putting in paid partnerships. So there's a very, very good question about that. So yeah, if that's probably what I mentioned there before about Hootsuite, HeroPost, a lot of those other types of platforms, they're very good for scheduling, for those for different types of platforms, whether it be Facebook, Google, Twitter, etc. But if you just solitary want to go with Facebook, I'd be saying to you, engage the Business Suite, full on. Yeah, mate.
Yeah, I use the Hootsuite and a few things like that.
Yep.
And I notice there's limitations on it.
Yep.
So you can only put, so you might not be able to do stories.
Yeah, that's right. Very, very good comment. Yeah.
You can get the data out of the
Yep.
Suite and that, but then you can switch over to the Facebook and
Exactly right. Really good comment. But again, it comes back down to planning. What's going to work for us? Introducing a platform like Hootsuite or a social media scheduling tool or a digital scheduling tool is actually adding a new team member into the business. Okay? So yeah, be very mindful with your planning, how you do it, why you're doing it. Okay? Very good comment down the back, because there are limitations to those type of platforms. Okay? But planning, planning, planning. 3-month rolling. Have a 3-month rolling plan. Many businesses that I work with, they've got a 3-month, sole traders, small businesses, they have a 3-month rolling plan. In many cases, with your medium-sized, larger businesses, they might have 6 to 12. In some cases, with corporate businesses I'm working with, 24 already. They know where they want to be in 2 years' time. They've already got plans in place, whether that be through stock control and management. How, if we're going to get X amount of stock into the country, we need to plan to make sure that we get that sold, etc. They're already planning. 3 months might sound a long time, but if you've got a business plan in place, it's really going to help you understand that planning is going to make sure that you are actually posting onto social media, you are actually posting onto Google and Bing, and you are actually increasing your searchability, how you're actually found. Okay? Who actually has a digital marketing plan or schedule in here? Yeah? How long have you got it running for?
6 months.
6 months. Very good. Excellent. How long?
Since the beginning of this year.
Yep, beginning of the year. Very good. 4 years. So you got a 4-year running digital
So we've been doing it
for 4 years. How far in front are you? Yep. How far in front are you?
about 3 months.
Cool. That's good to hear.
Doing that is good, but then what we found is, like when we had the bushfires here,
Yep.
I put an advert and it had like smoke in the background. So
Yep.
you've got to be careful.
Oh, 100%.
what's going on.
You've got to be aware of what you're pushing out, 100%. Yeah, no doubt about that. And have that awareness about, about what content you're actually putting out there as well. Remember what we said about the currency of information. Depending on the type of content, you might have a base plan. You might have a base social media plan, for example, that you run with, and then you add in currency of information with real-time stuff. So have a base plan that you've got for your business, and then you may place in more as you go, okay? You might see a trend. You might see something actually works better or is working well, so you might increase that post rate. Having a look at that as well. So that's all based around planning, around the search. Always look at changing your website content. Nothing worse than seeing a website with content on it since 1991. I've seen it.
That's what I was going to ask. With your content, your blogs or your blogs,
Yep.
should you date them?
Yes. Currency of information. Yeah.
If you've
Yep.
got evergreen content,
Yep.
how do you get the consumer to discern between?
Yep.
So you might have posted something 2 years ago, but it's still
Yeah,
relevant?
still relevant, 100%. Really good, really, really good. Put the date on it. Repost it with an updated date. So still use that same type of content. Still use that post or use that vlog, repurpose it. Because like what you just said there, what happened 2 years ago might still be relevant today or even more relevant today. Repurpose it. Either change the date up or leave the date saying this is a repost from 2 years ago. Content, 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 currency of information, how we actually deliver it. Okay? Very, very important. And it all comes down to the planning. We've got some really good things coming from the floor today. You know what you just said there before about some particular platforms aren't going to work for me based on the social media platform that I'm using. But it all comes down to planning. Okay? Adjust your GMB and Bing details. Once you actually create your Google My Business, once you actually create your Bing, once you've actually hook them in together, connect them together, which everyone in the room is going to do after today's session. Thank you very much. I'll be checking in. Once we do that, have a plan to change it. So if you're not going to be posting onto Google My Business, change your actual information details up. Plan your trading hours in advance. Change it up. I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to. You play the algorithm like the algorithm plays you. Have a plan to change up your searchability based on your keywords, based on your content, based on how we're actually being found. Have a plan to adjust that. Yeah? Any other good reasons why you might want to change it as well?
Doesn't Google like fresh content?
Fresh content, like I said at the start of the presentation. Currency of information. The more currency of information you feed the beast. Did you see Tiger King? Has anyone in the room seen Tiger King? No? The more information you feed the beast, the bigger the beast will get. The more information you feed the beast, the bigger the beast will get from a searchability term point. So adjust your Google My Business, adjust your Google details up. If you're running them separately, good for you. I'd be highly suggestive you run them together. Change your information up in those particular platforms. Okay? Content based on seasonal activity. If you're a retailer, you've got a shop front, we all know when Christmas is, if you believe in Christmas. We all know when the holiday periods are, okay? We all know when it's the fire season, generally. We all know when there's the flood season, cyclone season. If you're in a type of business, think about it seasonally and give yourself plenty of time. You know, and it may depend. If you've got an online business and you live in a remote area, you've got to whack on a week, because if you want to post something out or get something sent somewhere, you've got to add on a week to your promotion, to your plan. That's just what happens when you're in regional and remote areas. Okay. Search is all about that return on investment. The return on investment in your time planning will result in the return on your investment in you being found, in the return on investment that comes with creating money, sales, leads, engagement, sales. Okay? Search is all about return on investment, and my favourite word from today, planning. Thank you very much. You've been a really good audience. Today. We're a little bit early because I had the issue with the startup here. But look, searchability will come with planning. How we actually structure it, how we do it, how we deliver it. Getting those right platforms. Getting it right. This afternoon in 360 Digital, I'm going to specifically talk about how everything works hand in hand and the why. Okay? Yep.
You want to be in it because Google love you if you're in it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, they do. They want you to be a part of their platform. They want to be the superior platform. They want to be the number 1 search engine in this country. Earlier in the year, when the government was having a few issues with Google and the advertising thingamajig, they started on the floor of Parliament started to talk about Bing. Bing this, Bing that, Bing this, Bing that. What did I do? I went and started to advertise on Bing. Because I knew with a worldwide audience, Australian audience, that people would be listening. So I advertised on Bing and got a return. Because I reacted, I planned, I enacted. Yeah? So sometimes it's good to take the blinkers off. 3 times a year, I step out of my businesses, 3 times a year, and I have someone who I work with, I trust, who comes in and has a look at how I'm going with my plan. I can guarantee you that I get a kick in the bum quite regularly, because I'm over here at the bells and whistles, and I love the look of this, makes me feel so good, but sometimes I don't get my planning right. Must get that right in order to have that good feeling over here. Yeah? Any other questions from the floor about search?
Keywords and phrases.
Yeah? When you look at things like Google, for example, one of the really good things you need to look at is Google Analytics. Google Analytics is going to show you the keywords and key phrases to be found and what you should be using, okay? One of the suggestions I'd say to you today is if you've got Google Analytics into your website, go and have a look. Then, once you had a look at your Google Analytics, have a look at the keywords and the key phrases that are being used, and then have a look at the content in your Google My Business, your Bing, and also on the front end of your website. Have a look, compare it. Just have a look at it. You might get surprised, you might actually be horrified, but have a look at Google Analytics. There are, again, quite a few other platforms, but that is a really good starting point. Google My Business, funnily enough, until they changed the insights, used to actually show you what your keywords and your key phrases were. You could actually go into Google My Business and it'd show you what the keywords and phrases were. It'd show you where people were searching you from, postcodes. We used to use that data when we were looking at placing billboards around the place. We could see where people were searching from, you know, what line they were taking to drive to work, etc. And we'd actually plan where to put billboards based on that type of data. Because we already know we had an audience, or we already know that we don't have one. We may have to decide what we want. So yeah, Google Analytics, best way of doing it. Yeah?
Is that still being
Yeah,
relevant?
it's still relevant. It's still relevant, but again, one of the things that I didn't actually mention in my presentation today is making, with your website, for example, making sure that your speed rate is on par. Okay, do a speed test. I just thought I'd chuck that in based on what you just said there. So that is still relevant, that particular tool. But I'm very, very suggestive of Google Analytics. Yeah, 100%.
When you mentioned about shopping from Google My Business,
Yep,
and if you also got an online shopping platform on your website,
connect them.
do they work together?
They can work hand in hand. One of the really good things about it is you can create a shop on Google. You can either have the transactions occur through Google, or the actual button, the sale button, the buy now button can go directly to your e-commerce platform on your website. Yeah. And you know what's even better about that? Once you get them to land on your website, upsell, 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 upsell. Have things like a subscriber button once you land them there. You know, have those different types of percentage discounts. That all comes down to planning as well, okay? Yeah. Yeah, mate. Yep.
So with the Google Analytics, he's saying
Yep.
it is really good. What do you think about tools like SEMrush and Earths and
Yeah.
Graph and
They probably get put in the same basket as your scheduling tools, okay? They either work for you or they won't.
because we started using SEMrush about a month ago.
Yeah.
And the traffic is incredible.
What type of business are you in?
So we sell PVC connectors, so
Yeah.
retail,
Yep.
to make different things.
Yep,
So
very good.
We know our target market.
Excellent.
And
How did you plan for your target market?
hey,
How did you plan for your target market?
how did we find it?
Yeah.
Google Analytics. So I went through, found out it's this gender,
Yep.
this, and we did compare it against different platforms. So
Yes.
if you got on one platform, it might be slightly different to
Another one.
website or
Yep.
something like that. So you can't assume that they're all going to be the same.
No.
Sort of Sally or whoever you're paying them or whatever.
Yep. The same with Bing as well. Getting information from Bing works very much the same hand in hand with Google as it does with Bing as well. All right. So knowing where that information is actually drawn from. Okay. Any other questions? If you do want to ask me a question, go to my Facebook page, send me a messenger message, go to my website. You can message me directly from my website and ask a question from today's session if you like. You have been a really, really good audience to me this morning. Sorry about the first little connection hitch there, but I hope you really enjoyed it. And I hope you actually go away today and actually implement a few things that we've actually talked about. Very good. Thank you very much. Enjoy your rest of your day.